Have you lost where you're going? Hey, my dear friend, are you too tired to love again? You stormed out and took your bag so fast you left your coat. Remember the one you wore that night in Ontario? I still think about those days in the stillness of our home.
Hello everyone from New Zealand. This video is being filmed currently in Queenstown. We are about midway through on our photo tour, and oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, do I ever have something wild to show you guys. I can assure you, you are going to want to carry on watching this video because how I explain how these images were captured from a helicopter in the middle seat squished between two people honestly blows my own mind. I'm gonna have to say that this is a moment where was a moment when I captured them, where I am very, very proud of myself for what I was able to do. It was a very emotional experience, such an emotional experience, a mind-blowing experience. One of those things, one of those moments in your photography journey where everything just comes together perfectly when you don't actually think it was. So yes, because I am in New Zealand and when I'm out in the field with the clients, they come first, so I just don't have the time to be out in the field explaining things, and most certainly not when I'm up in a helicopter. Anyways, let's get into what we just experienced here in New Zealand. So I am on tour with Josh. Me and him are both leading this. He is obviously the main leader and he's done such a wonderful job putting it together and has brought me on to co-lead with him. One of the highlights of the trip, and it's not always guaranteed that it would happen, is while we are in the Mount Cook region, we make sure to try to create a really, really crazy experience for the people, and Josh likes to take them on a scenic helicopter ride. So it's definitely an unforgettable experience for them. It's not always about the photography. Of course, there's photography included, but he likes to ensure that they definitely get an experience. It's not always a guarantee, though, that the helicopters will go. So on the day that we were scheduled to go on our scenic flight in the Mount Cook region, it was actually up in the air because clouds and weather and everything can just get in the way. So even 15 minutes before we took off for the flight, we didn't actually know that we were going to go. But last minute decision, the pilot said, yep, let's go and do this. So away we went. So how it works in the helicopter is we had 5 to each helicopter. The person so there's 2 in the front and then there's 3 in the back. And the 2 people on the sides in the back obviously get the windows and the 2 in the front get the windows. And the person in the middle can still shoot and make it work, but obviously that's probably not the spot that you want to be, especially if you're a tour participant. So in the one helicopter that I was leading, I obviously sat in the middle, in the back, and I already knew going into it, like, while you're on the helicopter and you're doing the flight, you can't teach the participants, like, you can't really communicate. So you tell them beforehand, this is how you're going to shoot, look for this, kind of help them with settings, and then away we go, and everybody is just so absorbed by what is going on. I already knew, and I set my expectations that I was like, oh, it's just going to be pretty much a scenic flight for me, because I just knew I probably couldn't shoot from the middle seat as well as I would want to, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I actually only have my 16 to 35 lens and my 70 to 200, so I decided, you know what, I'm only going to bring my 70 to 200 up there with me. Yes, maybe some people might think that is a nutty move, but I did it, and for very, very good reason. So as we were flying through the area that we were flying, it's a Tasman Glacier flight. we couldn't land on that one, but we did go to another area that I'll have to look up and put the name on the screen because I honestly can't pronounce them, so I don't want to get it wrong. So, well, we took off, and this was just before sunset, by the way, so the light was pretty harsh, but there were some beautiful moments. The sun was starting to break through some of the clouds, and it was honestly really, really beautiful, but it was harsh. So I didn't really capture any photos during that portion of the trip. I just made sure to watch the participants and just checked on them and asked them how they were doing, and everybody was great. And then we stopped on a glacier, and we spent about 20 minutes there just walking around the area and checking it out, and everybody just soaking up the views. And then last minute, I think Josh figured out that we actually could extend our flight time. So it was last minute before we got back in the helicopters to head back down. Josh decided to extend the flight time by 45 minutes. So I think that, 45 minutes between the two helicopters. So basically what that meant was before we got back on the ground, we took a little detour and went to an area where the clouds were just wild, like really near Mount Cook and the Tasman Glacier. And oh my gosh, what happened next was mind-blowing because the sun had just started to set. And in that area where it was really, really cloudy, the clouds started to break apart. So I'm sure you guys can imagine the magic that started to unfold. And this is where I had to really, really figure it out, my skills, and be like, you know what? I can make this work. I can create images through these people's arms, like shooting in between their arms in the little tiny square of the patch of window that I can find. And thank goodness I had my 70 to 200 because I would not have been able to create these. I probably could crop in, but I would not have been able to create these images without having that 200 mil focal length. So as soon as we flew into this one area where I knew at least I was going to get this one image, everything changed.
My old friend, have you lost where you're going?
As soon as Mount Sefton came into view and I saw the clouds just swirling around it and the beautiful side light hitting it, I knew I was going to walk away with at least one shot. And I was actually able to photograph this at 70 mil. So that definitely worked in my favor. And at this point of the helicopter tour, I was just my expectations were still very low, and I just knew, I was like, okay, I got at least one shot. I know that I got this beautiful portfolio worthy image, and I was pretty happy. And I knew the clients were they were honestly almost in tears, and everybody was just happily shooting away. So it was a moment. Being able to capture that one image was just mind-blowing that I was even able to do it, and again through the client's arms. So this image is probably my favorite from the entire helicopter tour, and believe it or not, it's not even a mountain. You don't even know where I am. You have no clue that I'm in New Zealand. It's just this one lonely, isolated, lit up cloud above all of the other clouds. And this is where I had to really use those skills and really, really figure out compositions up there, given the limitations of where I was in the helicopter. And I decided to go for a very minimalistic approach for the remainder of the helicopter tour, and this is one of those images that I captured. As we were flying over all of the beautiful glaciers and the massive ice crevices, I could see that there was some abstract patterns that were starting to appear. So I decided again, and we fly over them very, very quickly, but luckily for me, it was just so massive. So I had a little bit of time to like visualize and pick out some of the lines and the crevices to create another yet pleasing composition that you probably would not know was photographed up in a helicopter. These 3 images turned out to be my favorite. I have many favorites from the entire helicopter shoot, but these 3 for some reason stand out to me, and they were moments where I was pretty proud of myself that given the situation that I was in, very, very limited with being able to like even move or shoot through a little tiny sliver of the window, I was able to walk away with like these memories of this helicopter trip. And I would say that this is, so far, we're about midway through the trip, but I would say that this was probably the highlight of the entire tour for everybody, and I'm definitely never going to forget it. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I know the production is not as grand as if I was up in there doing commentary of the entire helicopter tour, but I am so insanely busy and trying to like juggle so many things at one time, but it's so important to me that I'm getting out video content to you and sharing like my experiences so that you guys can also grow as well. Please subscribe because it only helps me out. And you know that these days all social media platforms are just so tough to try and make it through, and I am very, very determined to deliver really, really good content to you guys and also grow for myself. So again, please subscribe and give this video a like if you did enjoy it. I am off to New York shortly, so while you're watching this, actually I think I will be landing in New York, and there's a lot of stuff that I'll be doing there that I will share in the next video with you guys. Thank you again for watching. I will talk to you next time. Bye!